What a friend we have in Jesus. Oh, Lord, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry, oh Lord, everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry, oh Lord, everything to God in prayer. Lord God, I thank you for this group of precious gathered ones. We ask, oh God, that you would be with us as we attempt to rightly divide the word of truth. I ask that you would bless those who have blessed me. Pray that you would bless those who are in need of a blessing. That you forgive us of our shortcomings with my prayer, and that you would aid us and empower us and give us what we need to be who and what you're calling us to be in these last and evil days. I pray in the name of sweet like Jesus, and for his sake I always pray. Amen. Amen. Second chapter of the book of Acts. Chapter 2. I'm going to read this right quick from the New Revised Standard Version because I need you to get it before I do what I do. It just says, when the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place, and suddenly from heaven there came a sound like a rush of a mighty wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. Divided tongues as of fire appeared among them, and the tongue rested on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages as the Spirit gave them ability. Now there were devout Jews from every nation under heaven living in Jerusalem, and at this sound the crowd gathered and was bewildered, because each one heard them speaking in the native language of each. Amazed and astonished, they asked, are not all of these who are speaking Galileans? And how is it that we hear, each of us, in our own native language? Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and residents of Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt and other parts of Libya belonging to Cyrene, and visitors from Rome, both Jews and proselytes, Cretans and Arabs, in our own languages we hear them speaking about God's deeds of power. All were amazed and perplexed, saying to one another, what does this mean? We're going to skip forward to verse number 37, which is our verse of concentration. It says, now when they heard this, they were cut to the heart and said to Peter and to the other apostles, brothers, what should we do? All right, I want to talk to you this morning from what I have decided to call, what is we gonna do? What is we gonna do? Okay, I'm a little bit too heavy on the bass. Bring me out just a little bit. New Revised Standard Version of the biblical text says, now when they heard this, they were cut to the heart and said to Peter and to the other apostles, brothers, what should we do? King James Version says a little different. Now when they heard this, they were pricked in their heart and said to Peter and the rest of the apostles, men and brethren, what shall we do? But I didn't want to call it what I call it. What is we going to do? And I have intentionally omitted the identifier brothers in an attempt to be inclusive, because you know and I know they weren't sitting up there just a bunch of men. You know that women was in the midst. But the writer of the text is patriarchal and misogynistic and without respect for each and every person who was in the midst. And so it's our responsibility to put some respect on the sisters. So I'm just going to leave brothers out altogether. We're just going to say, what is we going to do? Life is filled with questions that cause us to reflect deeply on our current circumstances and situations, particularly those instances when we experience loss. Confusion and frustration often blankets us as if we were newborn babies wrapped in soft pink or blue fuzzy fabric like miniature mummies, constricted and bound, without knowledge or understanding of what to do other than to cry incessantly. When the baby is born, she or he actually experiences its reality as being connected, literally attached or tethered to its mother, the primary object. And I'm giving you some Piaget psychological theory here. Newborns have no conceptualization of reality that the world exists separate from their point of view and present experience. Listen to what I said. I said newborns have no conceptualization of the reality that the world exists separate from their point of view and present experience. And that's to let you know that most white people never really grow up, because they always believe that everything exists from their particular point of view and reference point. Okay. And as they grow and mature further into infancy, they discover that objects continue to exist outside of their eye shot or earshot. That's why babies cry. Babies cry so much when they're born, because they are not clear that the primary object, the mother, is still going to come back and return once they're out of their eyesight. And they believe that part of themselves is missing. That's why they are in distress. That's what the crying is all about. That's why they stop crying when you come and get in their face and they hear your voice and they smell your scent. Because then they become reassured that you're not going to leave them forever. That's babies. That's right. They learn that an object or an entity still exists even though they can't see it. To understand that objects continue to exist even when they are unseen, infants must first develop a mental representation of the object. In other words, the image of the mother must be burned into the heart of the baby. So much so that the baby trusts and believes that the mother yet exists even when they are unable to see her face, touch her skin, smell her voice, or smell her scent or hear her voice. This is what is known as object permanence. Say object permanence. Object permanence. The truth of the business is, because of our people's experience of enslavement and dehumanization, many of us wrestle with wonder as it relates to what happens to somebody we love after we lose them. Where did they go? Are they coming back? What will we do without them? That is what I go through each and every week, each and every Sunday morning. That's why I started staying in the back until service get going good, because I can't stand to see if you gonna come back or not. Object permanence. Because I'm used to people coming and leaving. You see, and so in order to protect my ego, I sit in the back until the congregation has a symbol, because when you're coming in, I don't know whether or not you're going to come. Do you see?
Yes.
Can we recover from the disappointment? Can we recuperate after the trauma? Can we once again be resilient and self-catapult to great heights and success, love, justice, and humanity as a people? It's the question, what is we going to do?